Hi guys, so for this video I'll be using yarn in size 3 and knitting needles in size 5.5 millimeters. So I'll start by making a slip knot and then I'll cast on 1 stitch. So here we have a slip knot plus 1 stitch for row 1. Now for row 2 I'll turn my work around, then I'll knit the first stitch and then I will increase 1 stitch. Then I'll knit the last stitch. So this completes row 2. Now for row 3 I'll turn my work around, then I'll knit all the stitches throughout row 3. So this completes row 3. Now for row 4 I'll turn my work around, I'll knit the first stitch, then I will increase the next stitch. I'll knit the next stitch, then I will increase the next stitch and I'll knit the last stitch. So this completes row 4. Now for row 5 I'll turn my work around, then I'll knit all the stitches throughout row 5. For row 6 I'll turn my work around, then I'll knit the first stitch and I will increase the next stitch. I'll knit the next 3 stitches, then I will increase 1 stitch and I'll knit the last stitch. So this completes row 6. So we repeat rows 2 and 3 until we have 36 stitches on our needles. So now that we have 36 stitches on our needles, I will use yarn in different color. Then I will start by knitting 2, then purling 2, knitting 2, then purling 2, knit 2, then purl 2. So I'll continue to knit 2 and purl 2 throughout this row. So for the next row, I'll turn my work around, and then I will knit the first 2 stitches, then I'll purl the next 2 stitches. So knit 2, then purl 2, knit 2, then purl 2, knit 2, then purl 2. So I will just knit 2 and purl 2 throughout this row. So we just continue knitting 2 and purling 2 until our work measures around 9.5 inches. And now again, I'll switch to yarn in color A. Now we're going to repeat this part on the left side as well. Only this time we'll be decreasing instead of increasing. Now I'll knit all the stitches with yarn in color A. Now for the next row, I'll turn my work around. Then I will knit the first stitch, then I'll knit the next 2 stitches together. Now I'll knit all the stitches until I have only 3 stitches left at the end of this row. So now that I have only 3 stitches left on my needles, I'll knit these 2 stitches together, then I'll knit the last stitch. So this completes this row. Now for the next row, I'll turn my work around, and for this row I will knit all the stitches throughout this row. So for one row we are decreasing 2 stitches, and for the next row we're knitting all the stitches. Now for the next row, I'll turn my work around. Then again, I'll knit this first stitch. Then I'll knit the next 2 stitches together. Now I'll continue knitting all the stitches until I have only 3 stitches left on our needles. Now that I have 3 stitches left on my needles, I'll knit these 2 first stitches together, then I'll knit the last stitch. So I'll repeat this until I have only 2 stitches left on my needles. So for one row we're knitting all the stitches, and for the next row we are decreasing. We'll knit the first stitch, knit the next 2 stitches together, then when we have only 3 stitches left at the end of a row, we'll knit the first 2 stitches and then knit the last stitch. So knit the one row and decrease in the next row. So we repeat this until we have only 2 stitches left in our needles. So now that I have only 2 stitches left, I'll turn my work around. I'll knit the first stitch, then I'll knit the second stitch, then I'll insert my left needle through this first stitch and pass it over the second stitch. Now I'll chain one, then I'll leave a long tail. Now cut this yarn. So my work measures 13 inches. So now we need to fold the work this way, and then we'll join these two sides together. See? Only the pink part from here to here. Now this loop right here on the left, I will join with the same green yarn that I use for this part. So you see how we join these two sides together, and then this part here. Now what we need to do, we need to join these two sides together. See, only from here to here. So I'm going to use yarn in green color. You see, it looks kind of like a cupcake. So now I'll turn my work inside out, just like that. This is how it looks from the inside. It's very stretchy. So it's totally optional if you want to add this row or not. So I'll chain 2, and through that same chain I'll make a slip stitch. I'll make a slip stitch through this next garter stitch. I'll chain 2, then through the same chain I'll make a slip stitch. Through the next garter stitch I'll make a slip stitch. I'll chain 2, then through the same chain I'll make a slip stitch. Through the next garter stitch I'll make a slip stitch. I'll chain 2, then through the same chain I'll make a slip stitch. Through this next garter stitch I'll make a slip stitch. I'll chain 2, then through the same chain I'll make a slip stitch. Through the next garter stitch I'll make a slip stitch, chain 2, then through the same chain I'll make a slip stitch. So I repeat this all around this loop. To finish this row, right here, through this slip stitch from the beginning of a row, I'll make a slip stitch, and then I'll chain 1 and I'll cut this yarn. And I really like how they turned out. Today guys, I hope you like this video and thank you so much for watching.